Welcome to another episode of the Billion Dollar Broker Podcast. My name is Ross Lacane. I'm bringing my 25 years industry experience together with leading experts around the globe to give you the insights on how to live a better life and grow a profitable mortgage broking business that you are proud of. Today, we have Tom Caesar from Notify, a platform that allows brokers to diversify their offerings. Welcome, Tom. Welcome to another episode of the Billion Dollar Broker Podcast. Excited to welcome Tom Caesar from Notify. It's a digital finance hub for mortgage brokers looking to access asset finance. Welcome, Tom.
Thanks, Ross. Great to be here, mate.
So we had a great chat a couple of weeks back and talking about, all the changes in the market and the opportunities that this new world had created. I know you're big on technology and this type of thing has really excited you. So tell us a little bit about, what's excited you.
Yeah, I think it's been, it's funny. We have a lot of conversations where, over the last 5 to 10 years, you hear the death of retail and certain industries having to pivot and digitize, I suppose. And I think where we've looked at it is it's the acceleration of digitization that we've seen over the last 3 months that's probably got us most excited. And when we talk about the digitization, it's not just, retail stores online. It's about the way we behave as both consumers and businesses. And, from a consumer side of it, the expectation is things are contactless now, which generally means there's some sort of digital, activity involved. From a business perspective, we have to change our ways to deal with our customers differently because a typical mortgage broker who would have had face-to-face meetings has to now use, different means of communication. And that's probably been what's excited us because we've always focused on that side of the business and grown our business that way. And the exciting part's probably, you look at lenders and the ID verification. We're seeing a lot more of them have to use it, and the red tape's been cut in half.
So, we were chatting about that. So you said of your lending panel, you had 20-something lenders, and they've all changed just about overnight. You've been pushing them around the identification verification thing to go onto online, and now tell me the stat.
It's happening in one foul swoop. We're seeing that the majority of them sort of come to us and say, we're now going to accept this, which is really exciting because it just makes it easier. It's less pain points for the customer. So I think that the snipping of the red tape is a big part of what we're seeing because it's no longer a choice. It's something they have to do.
Yeah, definitely. So, this is all about billion-dollar brokers and brokers taking their business to the next level. So I often say there's 3 areas that brokers can look to double their business, right? The first one is generating more leads.
Yep.
The second is converting those leads. And the third is increasing the commission value of that client, right? So you increase all those things by 25%, you end up doubling your business.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I've got you on the call today, is really to look at, what are the opportunities for equipment finance for mortgage brokers?
Yeah, I think there's a real simple statistic that we look at for mortgage brokers. And I think it's about 60% of first home buyers will buy a new car in the first 9 months after buying their home. And there's probably a lot of factors that cause them to do it, but the reality is they've been saving for their first home. They finally got in, they're paying the mortgage, and they've probably got a bit more free cash than from when they were saving, and they want something shiny for their new garage. But it's a key statistic for mortgage brokers because if they aren't even doing just a car loan for them, they're going to go somewhere else, and it might not be the car yard because car yards only do about 30% of the loans that customers are getting when they buy a car. So that opportunity in the first 9 months of settling a home for a customer, there's got to be that conversation because 60% of them are going to be looking for it, and you want it to be you.
Definitely. I mean, that's an interesting stat. I thought it was within the first 12 months. So you're saying it's within 9 months. Yeah.
Yeah, within 9. So, we see the way that from a marketing perspective, it's not so much ramming it down their throat and, we do cars, but it's the awareness piece. At least let them know that that's what you do and you can do it. And I think that's the key because, that probably covers that 25% you're talking about.
Yeah.
But it's such a big opportunity that a lot don't take into account, and it's making it part of your business, not just a extension of it.
Definitely. And a lot of brokers, that I talk to say, oh, should I actually be doing an annual review call around that 12-month period? Because, it's too soon to look at, refinancing or getting to a different lender. But, this is the perfect business reason to actually reach out. So you wouldn't diarise it for 12 months. You'd bring it forward to sort of that 9 months.
Yeah, I'd probably do a three and six potentially even.
Yeah.
And we've heard so many conversations around, trails are delayed up front and you need to earn your trail and all these different sort of points. But I think, some of these simple bits of communication, like I said, it may not be a phone call, but it might be just it's put into your email journeys that you've got at 3 months, one of your automated bits of communication. It's in there somewhere because you want them to think about you and even when you're looking at your social media marketing and things like that, making sure your customers like that page and they can see when they're on social media that they also do asset finance. So it's not the phone call that says, hey, you ready for a car loan? It's them knowing because they will come back to you. They've got trust in you already because you've just financed their home.
Yeah, I was having a chat with Jeremy Fisher about, home loans. And one of the things he said on the call was he wanted all of his friends and family to know that he was a mortgage broker. So it's a similar thing. If you're a mortgage broker, you want all of your clients to know that you can do asset finance and you've got that in your repertoire.
Spot on. And it's just the communication piece.
Yeah, definitely. So which leads us on to the other opportunities in that space. So, to me, one of the things I like about it is, for a home loan, you do the transaction, it might be a pre-approval. And so quite often it's 3, sometimes up to 6 months until you actually get paid for the initial work that you're doing up front. So for equipment finance, if someone's short of cash flow or they're having sort of some tight months, a little bit of focus on this means that, from what you were telling me, how quickly are these guys paying?
Yeah, some of them are overnight. A lot of them are in the week, and then there's a couple that are monthly. But the majority of them you'll get paid within a few days. So it certainly does help with cash flow. And when it becomes a part of your business, it's a lot more than 1 or 2 deals. We see some of our bigger brokers who are doing 5 to 10 deals comfortably a month, and they're individual brokers. They're not part of a group. They're individual brokers. So I think there's certainly an opportunity to help from a cash flow perspective, especially fund some of the things that mortgage brokers are doing.
Yeah, definitely. And do you see any habits of those guys in terms of, how are they getting this equipment finance business? Is it something they're actively promoting, or are there any tips that you could give?
Yeah, I think it's just taking a bit of time to learn as well, and actually sort of not look at it as, I want to diversify. It's more, I actually want it to be part of my product offering. It's a lot easier than a home loan at the end of the day. So it's as long as you understand how it's structured and how the comms work and all those little things. It's just taking that little time and effort to learn a little bit and enough to be dangerous so that you can have the conversations with your customers. And if even from a self-employed customer that you've got, 99% of them are going to have some form of asset finance. So you need to make them a lot bigger than a home loan client, because you might get 2 or 3 deals a year from them in asset finance, and suddenly the asset finance piece is more profitable for you than just the home loan. So, the other side of it is new customers can then come in via asset finance, which then creates home loan opportunities. So it just creates more, more revenue streams and leads from a different avenue.
That's a great point. So in terms of, obviously you need to learn before you earn, as you mentioned. So what suggestions would you give for a broker in terms of where to start? Where would they get the learnings to, upskill themselves to be able to write asset finance?
Yeah, I think, look, most aggregators are going to have some good forms of training as well. We do regular boot camps, which give the basics around understanding asset finance, as we said, to be dangerous. But even lenders as well, when you've got the direct accreditations, ANZ's got a really good commercial hub with some good training on there. So I think there's plenty of training out there. It's just a matter of just taking that little bit of time to actually do it. And, of course, we all say we're too busy to do things, but I think the long-term reward is certainly worth the effort to get started.
Oh, definitely. And, from those points that we highlighted, one, it increases your commission, and two, from a cash flow point of view, and plus, as we said, you've got those customers on your book anyway, and they're going to be doing it. So whether they do it through you, or they do it through the car dealer, or you then open the door to another lender, which obviously opens up the refinance risk, you're much better just taking that time. And it doesn't necessarily have to be you in your business. If you're too busy, you could potentially get, a specialist into your business, or one of the other brokers that's not as busy to do it.
Spot on, and it's a good when you do start adding brokers and training them up. It's a good, this is a really good way for bringing someone young into the business and having them maybe control your asset finance in the business and things like that. But it also reduces the risk of losing a home loan customer potentially.
Oh, definitely. So I want to talk about technology. We met a few years ago at the first sort of in London at one of the study tours, and we've both just been to the Salesforce conference in the US. And I know you're big on technology, and you have been big on technology for many, many years. So tell us a little bit about the technology side of your business.
Yeah, look, we, certainly it's been a big learning curve, the whole world of technology, but it probably became more of a passion early days for me. And we've been able to evolve and probably have a lot of people that have learned technology, and we've brought in some good people to help build what we've created. So, we're big on Salesforce, obviously. We've been with them for over 10 years, and, they've been a great I'd say partner for us, because it really does control a lot of our business, and we're able to get a 360-degree view of the entire business because of the way we use it. And then we've obviously built Notify, which is our own IP and our own platform that sort of powers our partners and allows them to, I suppose, do what we do. So, we've been able to, slowly build over the last 10 years, but the last three years in particular, since we launched Notify, we've been able to really double down on the tech and start building some really cool things. So, we're in a really good spot at the moment, where over the next 6 months, we're launching some products that we've been planning on going to market with the last 18 months. But because of COVID, we've doubled down. So, it's a really exciting time. And I think, with a focus on technology, every business should be doing it at the moment, because it's not necessarily build your own, but there's so many cool things out there you can use, like the way we were just chatting before about one of the the eCam solution you were talking about, and there's so many things out there that people can be using. It's not necessarily build your own, but it's what can you use to make business easier. We're obviously tech focused, and it allows us to be nimble and scale, I suppose.
Is there any specific examples of some cool tech that you're using in your business that you think that other businesses should jump on?
Probably, depending on the size of your business, we use one called Domo, which is a BI tool, and a lot of other people would use Power BI. Or Tableau or systems like that. But Domo's been a fantastic business partner, and especially from a digital marketing side of it, we're able to track so many things and so many data points into one platform and then visualize it. And that for us has been amazing, because we can move Xero data in there from an accounting, we can move Salesforce data in there, and then from a marketing perspective, Google Analytics, Facebook ads, Google AdWords, Bing, and all the different sort of marketing tools we use into one platform so that we can get good insights out of it. So that's probably been certainly my favourite over the last few years, and we've been able to build a really good partnership with them.
Yes, I mean, it sounds amazing. And that allows you to get some real insights and data. And we often talk to brokers about sort of looking at different lead indications and stats in terms of their business, whether it's the number of outbound calls they're making, or the number of emails they're sending, or the amount of social media activity they're doing. For a business the size of yours, what are some of the sort of leading indicators or stats that you guys look at?
Yeah, we look at, we've built a lot of data around conversion rates and probably workload capabilities and things like that. So, when we look at, basically an application to settlement, it's not just about, what the rate, what the conversion rate is from getting an application to settling it. It's also about, okay, well, what's application to approved? What's application to submitted? And we look at the different touch points of the loan, I suppose, and we can then clearly identify maybe where there's some training opportunities for staff, because someone might be really good at getting deals submitted, but they're not getting them approved. So we know we need to look at ways to improve their probably quality in submissions. But then, we also get to look at speed, because we've got timestamps on there too. So, we can see if, one of our big things is speed to submission, and, that's efficient as well, and accurate. So, us looking at those timeframes of how quickly they're able to action things on behalf of our partners is really important. So, it goes from phone calls to partners, it goes from speed to submission, to a point that our call center was the average callback rate was, we got it down to 34 seconds, where it was over 10 minutes a few years ago. So being able to measure those sorts of things to improve your business is great. It also creates some challenges, because we find things through that data that we never would have found before. So it is great, because we're continually using it to look at ways to improve.
Yeah, that measurement that you said of speed is an important one. It's a few that I've heard, people measure their KPIs, that they measure their processes and so forth on, because I think, by looking at speed, you're looking at where the waste is in your business, aren't you? So you're really creating that efficiencies.
Spot on. We had a good conversation, I think it was in November last year, around, rather than measuring all the good things we do and other KPIs within the business, let's message how much time is wasted on activities that may not generate revenue or future customers. And we went through a bit of a wastage strategy, and it presented a bit of a different look on the business, and certainly found some key areas that we could focus on and improve, where we go, well, hang on, why are we wasting 20 minutes on this for every customer we deal with, when it could be 5 minutes if we did this, or we may not need to do it all if we did this. And it allows you to quantify those improvements and sort of actually put a return on the investment, if you A, investing in technology, or B, investing in time for training or an additional resource. So we sort of flipped the business the other way and looked at, okay, where are we wasting time? And I think it prepared us probably really well for the last couple of months.
Oh, definitely. It's, it's so important around that. I know, when we're in the mortgage business, we went through that Kaizen, and one of the big things around, looking at the process of your business is identifying those areas of waste where there might be over processing or double handling. And, it's amazing of how much you can actually strip back, or it might be a process that you've just haven't thought of, but that was just the way you've done it, right? That's just, that's the way just because of the way we've always done it, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the right way.
We banned that line in our office. You can't say that because, one of the things is that, one of our core behaviours is we embrace change because we're always looking at new ways to improve, knowing we're never going to be perfect. So, there's no one ever says that line anymore because it's a big one for us.
Oh, definitely. But it's, when you do uncover those things and, you really ask the question of why, and it comes, oh, well, that's just the way we've always done it. It's, it's very interesting and it's, just shows why it's so important to have, that culture that you've obviously developed in your team, which is around that, ongoing improvement and looking at your processes and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. Isn't it?
So we were talking before around looking at, well, what's your strategy moving forward? And you made a comment to me, we're actually planning for October right now, so you've got through the COVID stuff and you were talking to me about October. So tell me, what was significant for you about, planning for October?
Yeah, I think for us, we've looked the first 2 weeks when it hit, we moved really, really quickly because of, the data we've got and positioned the business, for a bit of an unknown journey. And obviously after a few weeks from that point, things settled and we were able to clearly plan. And we looked at October as the month for us where I think, our pipeline right now is, we're on track for a record June, a record month for Notify. But then we're obviously looking at it, we're in a bit of a false economy. So the 150K tax write-off is probably allowing that to be a bit bigger than maybe it should be. So we're expecting to see a little bit of a dip in the commercial side of things in July. But then when we get to October, we've obviously got the job keeper, the job seeker ending. We've got the SME guarantee scheme. If businesses have taken out loans, payments are going to kick in. We've got tax debts that are going to have to go into arrangements. We've got, lease agreements with commercial landlords that have sort of had discounted rent for 6 months and things like that. So there's a lot coming to a head in October. And I think that month is where I think we'll truly know where the economy is. And that's what we're sort of planning for, as we know there's going to be a lot of businesses that don't want to add fixed costs to their business over the next few months. And we want to position ourselves to sort of amplify what we've done over the last 10 years, but do it for another 1,000 businesses. So I think if people can continue to look at ways to reduce fixed costs whilst growing or maintaining their business, October is really the month for us that we're going to test ourselves and that we think is the important month. Yeah,
definitely. And interesting and great sort of foresight. And I guess for a business like you have to be looking, ahead to work that out. I want to just take a step back because I think, brokers have a month to focus on that thing that you skimmed over, which was the 150K asset write-off. So to me, this is a massive opportunity for brokers around, accessing asset finance and equipment for small businesses. So can you just sort of highlight to the brokers in the audience exactly what that is and, what potential, over the next 30 days they may have to access it?
Yeah, I think, at the moment, that's obviously a very good government incentive to help stimulate the economy and have people investing in business. And, there's a lot of businesses that are still doing relatively well and have been able to not only maintain but grow. But because there is a tax component that's going to be effective for a small business, the opportunity, especially for your SME customers right now, is to let them know that that's what you offer and do some marketing around it. And we've been actively helping out mortgage brokers from that marketing side of it to just let their customers know that they do it, and some content around what it is and how they can benefit from it. So I think definitely leading into the end of June is a really good time, but it's something that's got to be actioned pretty quick because the end of June.
So just to be really simple for the broker, so
Yep.
it's any asset, is it, under 150,000?
Pretty much any business asset under 150K. There are some T's and C's that, depending on the business, that they'll obviously have to get some tax advice from, but it's pretty much anything with an asset number for business use.
Okay. So it could be a motor vehicle or a truck. Yep. Yeah, it could be a piece of equipment, whatever.
Car. Yeah, we saw a guy the other day who was going to have a 15 grand tax debt, and he's decided to go buy new Hilux to help write that off. So, you know, there are ways that people can help with some of their, you know, tax positions by investing in assets for their business. But once again, obviously every business is different, and would definitely recommend some accounting advice around that. But the opportunities are definitely there to take, make the most of it.
Yeah, definitely. So, and then obviously you're planning forward. So what other sorts of planning are you doing in your business? One of the areas that I've found a lot of mortgage brokers are weak at is sort of having like a long-term sort of strategy, and which may or not include, you know, the asset finance as a piece. So tell me a little bit about strategy and strategy planning and how important that's been in your business.
Yeah, I think one of my probably biggest downfalls is I do a lot of forward thinking. Sometimes it's too far forward. So we've really combined our strategy with we've got our long-term goals of what we want to achieve, and we've really broken them down into shorter goals, which are monthly and quarterly focused. So, you know, we've obviously had to change that whole strategy over the last 3 months. But, you know, as we're preparing the budget for the new year, we're obviously looking at it's all good and well to have those long-term goals, which we all have. But to get to them, we break it down into having the short-term goals that, you know, it sort of shows your improvement and your success towards that bigger goal. So that's how we've sort of focused on it, and certainly with a bit more of the one-page strategic plan approach. Obviously the Vern Harnish Scaling Up's a really good book and workshop to do around that. But I think, you know, that it's definitely a time to do plenty of planning, because what businesses we came into COVID with, they're likely to be different in some sort of way on the other side. So we do all need to be planning for that. Definitely. And in terms of, you know, as we said, in terms of looking into the future, there's massive opportunities. We were talking about that, hey, it's gone from being a local authority in your market to being, you know, a market authority, and there's really no borders now, because you know, we can interview over Zoom or Skype or whatever platform that you're using. And so for people to really sort of double down on their strategies around equipment finance and asset finance and position themselves as an expert, there's a real opportunity for that. Yeah, definitely. And I think that's the whole, you know, not needing to be face-to-face, learn a bit about digital marketing, learn a bit about social media, and, you know, it's not just, hey, I'll work in my local market. You know, you got to build your business so you can deal in markets that are, you know, not within your office or home office and in your local area. But how do you broaden your horizons and open up your target market a bit more? Because everyone who is running a business now, well, the majority of them should have a market that's the entire Australian population, because COVID's given us an opportunity to, you know, in the past, maybe you and me would have caught up face to face to have this chat, and now we can do it like this. So I think we're seeing a lot of businesses be agile enough to look at that and change the way they've always done business.
Yeah, definitely. So in terms of what you mentioned, and I know you guys do some, you know, digital marketing yourself. So what are your tips if, you know, because a lot of, again, the marketing side, I find a lot of brokers aren't strong on that side. So from a digital marketing space, what are some basic tips that you would recommend for brokers looking to sort of start that digital marketing journey?
Yeah, I think look, digital marketing, we would say it's easy probably to get the leads in when you're going to put some money towards your digital marketing. There's always ways to get leads. The next question is probably going to be a quality perspective and how you service that lead. So the biggest tip I would give to anyone, and especially mortgage brokers looking to do digital marketing, would be you've got to respond to that lead faster than any other lead you've ever contacted, because if they're online, they're likely inquiring at more places, and it's a bit of a first in, best dressed. If you can get onto them and win the deal early, you cut out your competitors. So I think that the speed is really important, how you service it. And if you're looking to get into it and actually do the digital marketing yourself, Google has a free, you can sign up to a Google training plan. I think it's about a 40-hour course. It doesn't take that long. It's free. It's easy to use, and you get some good insights to understand the world of digital marketing. So I think there's so many free resources out there, because once again, give yourself a little bit of knowledge. Even if you do use a strategic partner to do your digital marketing, at least you'll understand what they're billing you for. And you can probably hold them a bit more accountable, which is probably the biggest thing I learned is I did it all myself early. And when we did get a partner to do some digital marketing for us, I was able to talk the same language. So I think that's really important to understand those basics before you jump in.
Yeah, definitely. So speed of contact, and I've heard that, like that you can be up to, if you contact them within the first minute, it's like, 300% more than if you wait, 5 minutes or more, sort of thing. So there's some really interesting stats around those online leads and, how quickly you need to be sort of on them and contacting. But I think the other thing is around, 50% of those clients probably won't do anything with you. 15% will act straight away.
Yeah.
But 85% of that 50% may deal with you in the future. So they need to go then on more of a nurture sort of strategy as well. So it's one thing having a digital strategy to get the leads in, but you're probably, the biggest kicker for you is going to have to be put them in some sort of nurture campaign where they're going to nurture those clients until they're ready to become clients.
Yeah, I think that's a big one. There's always a lot of conversation about brokers need to make the most of their database. This, doing a bit of digital marketing and maybe not converting those clients straight away certainly gives you a bigger database to market to, and once again opens up opportunities across multiple different products. And that nurturing piece is your brand awareness, and using social media like TV advertising used to be, and that's what we talk a lot about. And that nurturing piece isn't just an email, it's SMS, it's phone calls, it's marketing on social media, because you can actually pull your database as a broker and actually plug that into the back of Facebook and market to just those customers. So they're the only ones that see your brand. So that helps you build a bit of brand awareness, and it's not very expensive too. But over time, it won't give you rewards quickly, but in the long term, it will build that brand awareness and that nurturing piece that will bring a lead when it's ready to convert or have intent to actually get a loan.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, and a point that a lot of people don't realise, that in Facebook Ads Manager, you can have a CSV file of all your clients, upload it into the Ads Manager, and then specifically target people who are already on your database. So you're not just then they're on your nurture email campaign, you're actually targeting them directly through Facebook. And that's where people are spending most of their time these days. If you look at the stats in terms of how people are spending the time and where people are spending their time, Facebook is still one of the most popular avenues for your ideal clients right now.
Definitely. And I think it's as we say, it's like it's TV of the early 2000s, but instead of marketing across this really broad audience size, you're able to go, hang on, here's my database. They've already inquired to me. I could market a personal loan, a car loan, a home loan, or even investment loan, or however that is. You can tailor your marketing and your messaging accordingly. And I think it's, once again, it's that brand awareness of this is what I do. And when that person is going to look for a loan in the future, they're going to remember, yeah, I saw that ad on Facebook. And it's more of a brand awareness campaign than a lead conversion campaign.
Yeah, definitely. So that's something that you learn about yourself, and then obviously do you outsource that to an agency now to sort of run on your behalf?
We've sort of a bit of a roller coaster. We used to, we started. I did all of it in the early days. Then we used an agency. Then we brought it back internally. Then we used another agency, and now we've got quite a sizable marketing team that does that. So we've built up the skills within the business. I think we've got about 8 within the group now. That's wholly and solely on the digital marketing side of it. So, what we've said is, with everything we've learned and been able to do, we've started doing that for some broking groups to roll out a strategy like that allows them to communicate very clearly with brokers. So an agency was very good for certain probably skill sets we maybe didn't have at points in time. But over time, as the business has grown, we've obviously tried to build more and more of that internally. And now pretty much 100% of our marketing is done internally.
When you say internally, are they all based in Australia, or do you have an offshore team as well?
Yeah, so we've got an onshore team and an offshore team. So we've got some, there are some really good skill sets you can get offshore too. It's not necessarily for a price factor. It's actually probably been from a skill set factor. We've been looking for certain skill sets that fill a hole in the marketing team. And, we're obviously based in Adelaide, so the population's a lot smaller than Sydney and Melbourne. All our good skilled workers end up in Melbourne and Sydney. But, it is hard to find really good marketing resources. So, we've found people who have probably had more of a cultural fit and a willingness to learn new skills. And, our marketing guys have been fantastic at embracing new tools and technologies that allow us to probably be more dynamic in the way we approach our marketing. So we've got, I think, five in Adelaide, and we've got 4 in Manila.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. I mean, it's been a great chat. We've sort of covered so many different areas, from, the opportunities for brokers in small business to strategy to technology to social media. So I think there's been a lot of value around, brokers sort of embracing that. Just, in closing, if we were to if someone was on the fence of thinking about getting into equipment finance and wanted to, take the next step, well, what would you suggest for them is the biggest tip that they could get started in equipment finance as soon as possible?
Yeah, I think it's just do it. Just get on with it and start learning it. There's doing it yourself initially is quite hard, but what we've focused on is probably that new to market broker who hasn't done too much yet. And we've got a couple really good brokers who started with us, and now it's just easier that they've now got a team of both commercial and consumer brokers that it looks like are in their business, and a team they can bounce scenarios off and things like that. So there's other strategic partners out there just like us in the same space. But if you decide to do it internally, just take the time to learn it, or find a business partner that makes you look good.
Yeah, cool. And if people do want to get in touch with you and to look at coming on your platform, what's the best way to get in contact with you, Tom?
Best way is either look me up on LinkedIn, or just go to notify.com.au and make an inquiry, and one of our guys will do a demo, or give you a call to run through how it all works, and then we do a boot camp which goes for about an hour and a half once a week, which will give you the basics of asset finance.
Awesome. Well, really enjoyed the chat as always, Tom. So this has been another episode of The $1 Billion Broker. If you like us on Facebook, come and find us under the group $1 Billion Broker. Ask to join the group, and we're looking at taking broking to the next level, and there's a lot of great brokers that you can ask great questions on there as well. So look us up and follow us on whatever podcast platform that you use, whether it be Apple, Spotify, or SoundCloud. And I look forward to talking to you again. Thank you.